I had left Pokemon Legends Arceus in the back burner, only really exploring it again for my 4-part theory on how they're building up for something huge in Gen 10. But then, when we finally got a new trailer for the Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet DLC, we got Hisui in Kitakami, which means that there's going to be something related to this specific Forgotten region in the DLC. And I say Forgotten region because even in Sinnoh there's nothing about it. So it got me thinking, how important were the events of Pokemon Legends Arceus and how will they affect what's going on now? So hey, I'm not so trainer, and what was Arceus' plan? Let's get into it. Like I said in the intro, I have made videos about the future before and you can check them out if you want, but I think that every single catastrophe we've been either seeing or almost seeing, like the firing of the ultimate weapon in Kalos or the almost new Darkest Day in Galar for example, are leading up to something huge. Everything is connected and I think it all might have started with Gen 5's soft reboot. At this point, there's only one region that really needs a revisit, and that's Johto. We had Kanto with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Hoenn with Auras, we had Sinnoh with BDSP and Legends Arceus, and every other region came after that soft reboot. And I think that after the events of Legends Arceus, we might see something related to Johto in the future, or at least Sinjo. Apart from this, Scarlet and Violet references a whole bunch of things like Mega Evolution in Roaring Moon's Pokédex entry, you have a reference to Sonia's book Galar: A History showing us that that also happened before the events of this game, you have a reference to Pewter City, although not something that is notable, but you also have a reference to Pokestar Studios in some shirts, something that happened in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 in Unova, as well as the Alolan landscape and Professor Leventon in language and history classes respectively. It feels like this generation is starting to tie everything together, even more now after you look at Kitakami and get instant Johto vibes, after Yanma, Hoot Hoot, Wooper and Sandrat are shown to us. They have a little bit of the one that was missing. But the important part is to look at the past now, and we gotta look at Pokemon Legends Arceus. We begin Pokemon Legends Arceus by being brought into the past of a world in danger, maybe ours, that is never really specified, in order to defeat a specific calamity. The space-time distortions are threatening Hisui and the noble Pokemon are in a frenzy, and there will be the need for someone that knows how to battle to be able to stop this. Why? Because it is all connected to someone who knows how to battle, a trainer by the name of Volo. We all know him, we all suffered. The one thing that this shows me is that back in the day, there weren't really a lot of powerful trainers. Some seem powerful enough, they can battle like Kamado for example, but they might have just learned how to battle as the game progresses and due to our presence and the presence of another character. I'm talking of course about Ingo. Ingo was a surprise, nobody expected him to be there, and honestly, I don't think returning characters were something we had in mind when thinking about Legends Arceus. The game is in the past, they were not even born yet. But we were wrong. It is impossible to know how Ingo got there, it could have been through a space-time distortion or it could have been through the power of Arceus as well. But whatever the reason, both Ingo and us have something in common, we know how to battle. So, from the two people that came from the future, also came the knowledge on how to become more powerful in the battlefield. We've all watched Back to the Future. We know that we have to be careful with what we do in the past or else we're gonna be changing the present we came from. And I think that we did alright this time. We stopped Volo, and by stopping Volo, we made sure that it didn't destroy the world and then reshape it. But there's one thing that we changed. We introduced that knowledge of how to battle into the world of the past. And so, trainers will evolve faster. They will become stronger more quickly, because they know how to do it. They'll be capable of fighting bigger threats more easily. And now, well, now comes the crazy part. If things were brought to Hisui through the space-time distortions, there's a chance that they were also brought to the present through those as well. So there's a chance that that thing worked kind of like a time machine. And we probably can tell what were the places they were leading to. The spawns we have come from Kanto, Johto, Sinnoh, Unova, Kalos and Alola. If we assume that a modern Johto would have the fairy typing, I'd eliminate Kanto and Kalos and straight up say Ecruteak City. Gengar is Morty's Pokemon, so there's a connection to it, Magnemite spawned in Route 42, which is west of it, and the evolutions are, of course, connected to the Kimono Girls, which could have Sylveon, Glaceon and Leafeon at this point in time. The outliers would of course be the Porygons, Cyndaquil, Caesar and Sneasel. Sinnoh makes sense because we are living in the past of that region, and that place must have been a mess during the events of Legends Arceus. Alola, honestly, it could simply be the fact that it is already a place where these kind of things happen, so maybe the Alolan region is simply more unstable and reacts to this type of energy. And Unova would be an outlier, wasn't it for the fact that Ingo came from there. So we just had Alola, and so maybe Rowlet was simply that, a nod at Gen 7. And Sinnoh is exactly where we were, so Pokemon from Sinnoh coming from the space-time distortions kinda makes sense. But Johto and Unova, those are strange, especially because they were the old regions we thought would be remade in the near future. And so, what if someone went from Hisui to one of those regions? When we finally defeat Volo and he sees that Arceus has chosen us, he says that you won't stop even if it takes him years, decades or centuries. He also tells Laventon that it would likely be the last time they would ever meet. So he has a plan. He wasn't going to stay in Hisui, he was gonna go somewhere else. And I have two ideas for this that maybe connect the past to the future. I feel like we need a new Legends game focusing on Johto or at least Sinjo, and I can see Volo playing a role in it as well. But I think that ultimately Volo will time travel through the space-time distortions into our time to either Johto or Unova. Still, I don't see a Johto sequel happening, but I am very confident that the Unova sequel has its place in our future. And if Volo travels there, there's a chance that it might be the reason why whatever events fuel that game are triggered. In fact, that would make Ingo's return something a lot more powerful, because he would know who Volo was. And also, we know that Colress can play with different dimensions and stuff like that, so it could ultimately help us in sending Volo back. In fact, there's a big chance that opening a portal in Unova, a stronger portal that's bringing someone, could also bring something else from the past. A creature that we have never seen, something incredibly powerful that we know only from Legends. The original dragon. This could all have been Arceus' plan from the beginning, since the alpha Pokemon doesn't really do anything or stop the events from happening with its own arms. It brought us into the past together with a battle specialist and basically gave the world the tools needed to face that challenge in the future, knowing very well that it would not stop then and there in Hisui. And that is all I have for you today. I think that a lot of different things are starting to become one giant thing, and I think that can be amazing for the world of Pokemon. But what about you? Do you feel we'll see Volo again? Let me know in the comments down below. And now, like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon content, and also ring the bell so you know when the next video is out. You can follow me on social media and Twitch. I stream there Wednesday to Sunday, not Saturday, or join our Discord. All the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.